you kept going, more and more text, and how quickly this would end, and you were right. I mean, it wasn't a contest. It wasn't a fight.
I would also wait on a Usyk fight. I know that Turkey Al-Sheikh is talking about that, and that might come to pass with the money and everything else.
Teddy Atlas gave a bold statement and shared his opinion regarding what should happen next in the career of Moses Itauma following his recent first-round KO victory over Dillian Whyte. He said that despite rumors of the possibility of a showdown with Alexander Usyk, urged on by heavy backers, he felt it was too soon.
You can have all the ability in the world, but you have to have the technique to use it properly. He has that too. He's been taught really well.
Teddy Atlas stuck to his point, pounding that Moses Itauma had attained a level at which everything seemed to fit well into place in his career. He highlighted that the young heavyweight has demonstrated rhythm, maturity, and balance since getting under the tutelage of Andy Lee, a fact that has been reflected to his results.
Where you're clicking on all cylinders. You know, with Andy Lee, with everything, he is in the best position of his life right now, the way he's fighting. He is a Parker who is parked in the best neighborhood he's ever been in. He is at his best now.
On the other hand, making a bold statement, Tyson Fury talked about the recent attention Turkey Al-Sheikh had given to a possible matchup between Alexander Usyk and teenage sensation Moses Itauma. Fury, the man who knows Usyk better than anyone as they shared the ring in their undisputed fight, showed his unswerving confidence in his young compatriot to deal with the challenge.
I keep getting asked about young Moses Itauma fighting Alexander Usyk and fighting other big names. And my opinion is not someone who don't know boxing. My opinion is someone who has been there and won every single belt, won everything there is to win in boxing, and done very well. Boxing is a young man's game. Like I told Vladimir Klitschko when he was 37, boxing's a young man's game and it waits for nobody. So here's the opinion.
For Fury, it wasn't just hype, it was a statement of belief in the next generation. His words turned heads across the boxing world, sparking debate about whether Itauma was truly ready for such a seismic leap so early in his career.
Heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang, whoever else there is, Luis Ortiz, all these big names of the past are all a spent force. And even the world champion now, if they took my belts and give them to Usyk, Moses will wreck him. Because he's a young man versus an old man. An old man can't mess with young men.
Tyson Fury, the current WBC heavyweight champion and the greatest fighter in the UK of all time, spoke about the fact that he believes that Moses Itauma was on his way towards greatness. His talent scouting eye, combined with the plain-speaking style that so much endears the Gypsy King to his associates, had allowed him to observe enough of the young prodigy to be convinced that he bore the qualities of a future world champion.
I think Jared and Moses are very, very both good fighters. However, there's a lot of temptation, there's a lot of stuff outside of boxing that makes fighters not achieve what they should have done.
Eddie Hearn reacted emotionally to the one-sided nature of this fight, expressing concern over Whyte's current condition. He questioned whether Whyte should have been put in such a tough matchup, suggesting the bout might have been mismatched given the age and preparedness of both men. He stated bluntly, he shouldn't have been in there. It was one-sided from the start. That 37-year-old wasn't in a position to take on someone that hungry and sharp. Teddy Atlas blessed Moses Itauma and said he had flavor and character. He emphasized that Itauma was not simply a physical power. There was a humility and composure to his bearing that Atlas found as important as talent. Technically, he was compared to a younger Manny Pacquiao by noting that Itauma possessed a rare skill to close on his opponent so fast, not only with the use of his hands, but also his movement.
He's special. He's big, he's young, he's got fast hands, he's got fast feet. Not only his hands get to the target fast, his feet bring you to the target fast or bring him to the target fast like a young Pacquiao did. I mean, he closes gaps really fast.
Atlas added to Itauma on being explosive and how fast he could have people at range and deliver punishes before they could feel it. He compared it to the unexpected dangers of operating a car. He was emphatic on the aspect that a fighter should never relax. One wrong move against Itauma may come up and you will be found at once.
Like 1 second you think he's not there, and bang, it's like driving a car. You got to be careful with this guy. It's like driving a car, bud. You know me, I'm always on you and Nicole about driving really, really fast. He has good eyes. He's calm in an uncalm environment. That's what makes him a great finisher. He sees everything. He knows where to go, where not to go. He doesn't waste anything. That's amazing for me. How this guy doesn't waste anything.
During a discussion at the Porter Way podcast with Sean Porter, Sean Zittel pointed out to the Ring Intelligence that Moses Itauma showed much behind his years. He said that Itauma did not simply resort to raw aggression, but subtle defensive maneuvers, such as the half step, were used to place openings so that he might open himself up without getting hurt. Zittel also pointed out the sequence in which Itauma was able to hurt Dillian Whyte, but immediately remained composed to recover balance and then unleashed another sharp combination.
Itauma's showing us in the fight the exact craft to do just that, to take a half step back and sleep him if he tries to fall into the clinch. Did you see when he hurt him, he got him with a combination and then Whyte stumbled back near the ropes? He had such a clean, he took a step back and caught his balance so clean and then followed up with another combination. I just mean, this dude is showing us he can lead, he can counter, he has timing, he has an arsenal. The guard manipulation he did was sick to get the knockout.
Zittel went on with the finishing sequence, highlighting the versatility at Itauma as the difference. He was not simply throwing shots, he was working the guard of Whyte and cutting traps and confusing his options in selection of punches and landing with speed and accuracy. Its finishing short right that stopped matters was termed invisible, a punch Whyte had never seen. In the case of Zittel, it became evident that Itauma was the complete package. It could initiate transactions, counter, and flood an opponent with a box of tools.
We sweep the left hand, and then boom, the short right hook. Dillian Whyte didn't even see it coming. He didn't even, the hand speed and the punch selection was so on point. He didn't know what was coming, when. I don't know, JYD.
The battle got started with Itauma demonstrating why so many believe he is the future of the division. He jabbed briskly and with intent, and first gained range and rhythm. Whyte, as per his motto, stalked towards his South Pinchy prey with his typical aggressive demeanor, trying to break him down. After witnessing Moses Itauma dismantle Dillian Whyte in just over a minute, veteran promoter Frank Warren spoke with a mix of shock and admiration. He praised Itauma's devastating precision, calling the finish extraordinary. Warren went on to caution against rushing the young fighter into elite matchups, emphasizing the need for a measured approach to building his legacy. He said, "It was sensational, punch perfect. No one's ever done that to Dillian. He may be one of the best fighters I've worked with at this stage in their career." Adam Catterall commended the way Moses Itauma dealt with the workings of Fight Week. Regardless of the media responsibilities and all the sideshow, Itauma conducted himself like someone older. Catterall mentioned the composed, even tone in which Itauma would discuss the interviews in which he was interviewed, being mature and composed. He pointed out that Itauma not only met expectations, but exceeded them as he showed a clinical performance in the glaring lights.
This young fella is. I thought he dealt with it absolutely fantastically. All week, the interviews that I watched, he looked like he was bang on. He speaks with, he's such a stoic guy, the way that he speaks with such calm and reassuredness. And then to get in there on a Saturday evening and do what he did in the manner that he did it, listen, he's ticked every single box. It's going to be an exciting ride watching this boy do his thing in the heavyweight division over the next few years.
The difference in experience could be spotted in the early minutes. Whyte buried to the body, slithered under punches, and sought his well-known left hook, whilst Itauma was a disciplined fighter, making no pretense to take the hit early as ultimate sway might go his way. Spencer Oliver covered the inconsistent response to the victory of Moses Itauma. He stated that critics were already clamoring that harder challenges and more battles were required. But in the case of Itauma, he had escalated against an experienced veteran in Dillian Whyte. Although Whyte may have been past his prime, the stresses of such a fight were monumental.
In Moses' situation right now, coming off the back of that, and you read the comments, etc., about, yeah, but we need to see him in with someone different, we need to see a live opponent, we need more rounds, and all that sort of stuff. You go, you're deemed if you don't, and you're deemed if you do. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those things that you just go, Look, give the kid some respect. He went in there against Dillian Whyte.
Oliver took the wider perspective into mind, the mental and emotional grind that came with headlining against a talent with a name as big as Whyte. He pointed out the capability of itauma to deal with the main event spotlight, expectations, and most importantly, pressure. According to Oliver, the control and performance of itauma during fight night indicated that he was way more mature than his age. He concluded that it was not merely a good performance, but rather a first-class performance that made the judgment firmer that itauma will be a potential heavyweight contender.
Yeah, all right, Dillian may have looked a shell of his former self once that bell rang, but he still had to do the job. What he went in there with, Simon, was the tick that he got was he dealt with the emotions that he had to deal with. He come through that with flying colours.
And all the other stuff going around.
And all the other stuff going around that, you know, with being
expectation,
top of the building,
headlining and that sort of stuff, yeah.
Etc. And yeah, I thought it was a great performance.
Where Whyte struggled to find range, itauma danced around his punches and switched angles and landed straight left hands down the pipe. The punches had not contained one-punch knockout threat, but their accuracy and timing were starting to take their toll. Whyte had a history of battling wars against Anthony Joshua, Alexander Povetkin, and Tyson Fury, and was not new to unpleasant situations. But whenever he would make a rally, itauma would make it fall short by his calmness. Mark Tibbs, former trainer of Dillian Whyte, stated that it was not a surprise, as it was not unexpected. He had even the hope that Whyte could prolong the bout a few rounds and test the skill level of Moses Itauma, but the young heavyweight was just too quick. Tibbs accepted the idea that Whyte came into the ring well prepared and in good shape, but the class and timing of itauma were too strong.
Speechless, really, mate. It was what we all expected, really. Was hoping we could get 4 or 5 rounds out to see where Moses was at, but he's that good. He's that good. I thought Dillian shaped up well. I thought he was in fantastic nick. But when you're at your twilight years and you're working on your weight, etc., it's taxing on yourself, and I'm pretty sure he had to make some pains. I'm not judging him.
Tibbs referred to the truth of the stage of Whyte in his career. He made it clear that age, wear and tear, and years in grueling and punishing training camp had overtaken the once void candidate. Congratulating Whyte on his commitment and professionalism, Tibbs added that Father Time had been the greatest antagonist, so that it was nearly impossible to defeat a young, hungry boxer like Itauma.
He's trained in a hell of a lot of training camps, and he's very, very diligent in his training. But it just, you know, it's like grandfather time for him, if you get me. So it was a difficult task, and we all knew that anyway. But it shows that Moses is been emotionally tested, and obviously he's still got to be built physically tested.
When we compared the two, the difference in form was the core of the fight. Dillian Whyte began his career as, and has remained, the sort of rugged physical heavy. His left hook is a fighter's disrespectful weapon, and his enthusiasm for fighting has both cost him knockouts and defeats alike. With Itauma, it was the same. Attack, put on pressure, and seek the one attack that will turn the tide. JYD was highlighting the threat and seriousness of the appearance of Moses Itauma when he was so young. He mentioned that a fighter who would treat him as an up-and-coming could be making a big mistake. According to him, not only is Itauma someone to keep an eye on in the future, he is an imminent threat that every rival should have taken note of a long time ago.
He is not up next. I think, like you said, he is up now. 100% he's up now. Because if and in fact you see this kid and you think, I ain't worried about that, you are out of your goddamn mind. You better be worried about him yesterday. You should have been worried about this kid last week, last month, last year. This young man is dead fucking serious. I'm talking about dead serious.
He said, I ain't gotta drop a bitch on me, and I'm happy to be a middleweight because that mother comes on down to get some height work with you. I ain't no part of that kid up at heavyweight. That boy is dead serious. He's not up next. He's up now. The style of Moses Itauma was as far apart as it can be. Founded on principles, his left-handed stance, quick jab, and smart movement baffled Whyte all through. Itauma neutralized the aggression because they did not counter it with aggression. His boxing IQ, which is incredible in a young man, helped him to choose the moments and to reduce the risks. Where Whyte would like to see chaos, Itauma puts order. This difference and nothing only so puts Itauma at an advantage. Mark Tibbs talked about the unusual combination of legs and grunt that was possessed by Moses Itauma, who is unusual in that his speed and power are not normally combined in heavyweights. He identified the uniqueness of the movement of Itauma, stating that he performed his power naturally and remained mobile. Another situation that Tibbs singled out was the smart shot selection of Itauma, as he explained that it was the job of a fighter with great IQ in the ring.
He's that good. He's a phenomenal mover for a heavyweight. Phenomenal. Carries his power with his movement for a heavyweight. And the shot selection he threw yesterday was, you know, what you'd expect from someone of a high intelligent fighter like him. So yeah, credit to Moses, done a fantastic job, and I wasn't surprised.
In summary, it is apparent that Moses Itauma is not banging on the door of greatness in the heavyweight division. He is throwing the door down. Experts, godfathers, and even critics have all sung in unison. This youngster is the real anatomical composition, and he is already showing it in the big arena. The step, the force, and the coolness he wears are the attributes of a future king of the division. However, now it is your turn to take the spotlight. Do you think Moses Itauma can step up and become a contender in the heavyweight division today? Or is the hype best held off until he has been put in a bigger test? And if you like this breakdown, be sure to give like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you never miss the most recent fight talk. Leave your guesses in the comments below though, because the heavyweight plot has only begun.